Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different than usual, and I'm going to be taking you through the 10 levels of being able to play the piano and sing at the same time. So you can go from a total beginner to being able to sing something like this. If we go Perfect by Ed Sheeran, it goes something like this. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the cross, listening to our favorite song, and so on. And this is all just me not really knowing how to play the piano, but just following a series of mathematical formulae across these 10 different levels, which I'm going to teach you in this video. And whenever I post something like this on my Instagram story, by the way, please follow me on Instagram, people always ask me that, how long have you been taking piano lessons for? And like, where did you learn? And how did you learn? And all this stuff. And I think when it comes to playing piano, especially playing piano and like singing and stuff, it can sound and it looks a lot more intimidating and difficult than it actually is. And as I'll hopefully show you in this video, by just following a few formulae and by using a cool website and by doing a little bit of practice, you too can get to the point where people will think that you've been playing the piano for years because you're playing the piano and singing at the same time. Let's get into it. All right, let's get started with level 1, and that is where we're going to go on a website called Ultimate Guitar Tabs, and we're going to type in the name of the song we want to do. For example, Perfect by Ed Sheeran. And we're going to find a series of chords that have a decent rating. So this one has 33,000 reviews, which is pretty good. We're going to click on that. And now this will tell you the exact chords of the song that you want to play. And that is basically what we're going to be using. The main thing as well is that for the purposes of this video, we're going to be playing in the key of C major. Don't worry if you don't know what that means, but basically you want to use the transpose button on this website and make it so the first note is a C. So I'm going to go all the way down. Now my first note is a C, and that means the only notes I'm allowed to play for the rest of this song are the white notes. Stuff about keys and, you know, different majors and minors and all that kind of stuff, we don't really need to worry about it just yet. I might do some videos about that in the future if you guys are interested. And my friend John actually has a Skillshare class linked in the video description about music theory if you care. But we're going to ignore music theory for now and just focus on the things you actually have to know to be able to play the song. Basically what we have now is we have all of the chords for the song. We can see I found a love is a C, and then for me it says it's AM, which is A minor. Darling, just dive right in, which is an F, and follow my lead. And level 1 is where we just play the note. So to do this, you have to Google what are the notes of a piano. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And we're only allowed to play the 7 notes. C, D, E, F, G, A. You don't need to B. You don't need to touch any of the black notes at all. We're only allowed to play these 7 white notes. And so level 1 of playing the piano and singing at the same time is where you're singing the song, but you're playing just a single note while you're singing, and Ultimate Guitar Tabs is telling you what that note is. So for example, I found a love for me, darling, just dive right in and follow my lead. I found a girl beautiful and sweet, I never knew you were so waiting for me. And so on. I'm just playing the single note, and I'm just following that based on Ultimate Guitar, and I'm singing it at the level where that sounds more or less legit. So that's level 1. Let's move on to level 2. And level 2 is where we get very slightly fancier by playing the octave. So on a piano, we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So C and C. This is the same note. They're just an octave apart. And a piano just has these notes repeated. C, 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 C. It's all the same note, just an octave apart. And so now, instead of just playing one note, we're going to play an octave. And we can play it with our left hand, or we can play it with our right hand. I prefer playing the octave with the left. So you take your pinky and your thumb, and we are playing the octave. Well, I found a girl, beautiful and sweet. I never knew you were that someone waiting for me, 'cause we were just kids. Nice and easy. We just know the notes of the piano, we're playing the octave while we're singing the song. And so on. Quite straightforward. All right, level 3 is where it starts to get really interesting, and now we are playing chords with our right hand. And so when it tells you on Ultimate Guitar what the chord is, like C or A minor or F or G, you want to play that chord. And you can always Google how to play these chords on the piano, but essentially the key of C major is very nice because basically it's always the same shape. It's play the note, skip a note, play a note, skip a note, and play a note. Hopefully you recognize this as like a... It's a very distinctive sound that like it makes up the basis of a lot of music. So this is called a major triad. Major because it sounds happy, and triad because there are three notes in it. And so this is the C major triad. It's a C, skip a note, E, skip a note, G. Now you have a triad. Okay, so that's easy. This is the C triad. What is the G triad? Well, you hit a G, skip a note, B, skip a note, D, G major triad. What about the F triad? F, skip a note, A, skip a note, C, F major triad. A minor is a bit different. The nice thing, so minor chords tend to sound sad. This sounds a bit more sad. This would be like an A major, which is a bit more happy, whereas this is, A minor, it's a bit more sad. But the nice thing, again, we don't need to worry about what a minor chord is. In the key of C, it's, again, just play the A, skip a note, play the C, skip a note, play the E. And so your hand can be in this like claw-like position, C, A minor, F, G, C, A minor, F, G, C, A minor, F, G. You can see that my hand is, my claw position is just not changing at all. I could even do it like this, with just these three fingers. And I could just literally play. That would be how you play the triad. So I'm going to play with my thumb, my index finger, and my ring finger, because that's how I like to play the triads. And now we're going to sing along over the top once we've done a little bit of practice with this. So here's how it might sound like. I found a girl, beautiful and sweet, and I never knew you were that someone waiting for me. 'Cause we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what... Oops. We were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing A minor it was. I will not F you up. This C, G, 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 darling, just kiss me slow. I'm gonna notice a C played over here is exactly the same as a C played up there. It just sounds exactly the same. It's just that one is lower than the other. An A minor played over here is identical to an A minor played over there. So this is the major triad. Again, we're skipping a load of stuff about music theory, but I'm trying to take you through these 10 levels as quickly as possible so that you can find out more about these different bits depending on which level you're at. All right, level 4 is now where we're going to play the right hand triads, but we're going to add some rhythm to it. So you're basically going to want to play them on the beat of the song. For example, baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms. So if I'm playing the chorus right here, I know it's A minor, F, C, G, and the chorus is like twice as fast as the verses. And it's just telling me when I have to play the chords on ultimate guitar. So, baby, I'm F'ing in the C with G between my A minor, effort on the C, listening G or A minor. When you F, you look to C. I whisper G underneath my A minor. You F'd it, darling, you see, look, G perfect to C. So literally, following a mathematical formula, I've got my hand in that position and I'm just playing along with the beat of the song. The beat of the song is going to change depending on what song you're singing. So if we did... I'm holding on your rope, got me 10 feet off the ground. I'm hearing what you say, but I just can't make a sound. It's not quite the same beat as Perfect by Ed Sheeran, but it's a vibe. And so that is level 4, where you're like banging out the rhythm while you're just playing that simple triad that we already know. All right, level 5 is where we start to get really interesting, and now we're going to put our two hands together. Now remember how earlier in level 2 we played the octave. So this is the C octave, A octave, F octave, G octave. Now we're going to combine the octave in the left hand with the triad in the right hand. Now this is going to be fun. This is going to be good. If Ultimate Guitar Tabs tells me to play a C, going back to, let's say we're going for verse 2. Well, I found a woman. I know that's a C because it tells me it's a C. So I want to play a C and a C with my left hand, the octave. And with my right hand, I want to play the triad. The C, the E, the G. This is a C, octave and triad. And I want to do this for all my things. And again, my hand is staying in exactly the same position. C, A minor, F, G, C, A minor, F, G. My fingers are not moving. My hand is literally stuck in this position, and this is all I'm doing. So if I was singing this, it would be, well, I found a woman stronger than anyone I know. She shares my dreams. I hope that someday we'll share a home. I found a love. And now, if I were doing my rhythm thing, I could do that as well. I found a love to carry more than just my secrets, to carry love, carry children of our own. We were still kids, but we're so in love, fighting against all odds. So you'll notice that I'm rhythming it with just my right hand. It's a bit much if you rhythm it with both. So I'm just playing the octave, holding the octave with the left hand, and rhythming with the right hand. Fighting against all odds, I know we'll be alright. This time, darling, just hold my hand. So that is level 5. Moving on to level 6 now. This is getting really fun. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to play an arpeggio with the right hand. Now, this is a triad, a C major triad made up of C, E, and G. And when we play the chord, we play them together. But now we're going to play them separately. So instead of playing together, we play separately. And you can do this with all the chords. So this is C, going to A minor, going to F, going to G, so back to C, to A minor, to F, Again, this takes a little bit of practice, but this is just a broad overview. And now we can combine these things together. We can play the octave with the left hand, and we can play the arpeggio with the right hand. You might find it easier to just do the right hand initially. So let's just do the right hand while we're singing along. We are still kids, but we're so in love, fighting against all odds. I know we'll be alright this time, darling, just hold my hand. And I'm gonna add in the left hand octave, just playing the octave. Be my girl, I'll be your man. I see my future in your eyes, and baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. And I saw you in that dress, looking so beautiful. You get the idea. Just playing an octave, and then arpeggiating the chord on the right hand. Takes a bit of practice, but this is already getting us to the level where, you know, if someone looked at you playing the piano, playing on level 6 or 5 or whichever level we're on, they would think, damn, this person is reasonably okay at playing the piano. So moving on to level 7, now we're going to be arpeggiating the left hand as well. Now this is where it gets fun. Now, when we're playing an octave in C major, i.e. we're only allowed to hit the white notes, you want to look at where your index finger naturally ends up. For example, if I'm playing a C octave, my index finger ends up on a G. And this is the 5th. The other way of thinking about this is that if you were to play a C major triad, what would the last note of that triad be? And the answer is a G. And so when you're playing with the octave with the left hand, at this level we're now going to add in the 5th. So we're going to add in the G as a note that we're allowed to play. So this is what it would sound like with C, A minor, I'm hitting an E, F, I'm hitting a C, and G, I'm hitting a D. C, A minor, F, G. It's nothing fancy, it's just we're taking the octave and we're adding in that middle note, which is the fifth, which is the end note of the triad if we were to play it. Again, if you haven't done music before, this will seem like hard, but with a little bit of practice, this becomes very second nature because it's just where your index finger ends up landing. And so at this level, while we're singing along, we can occasionally hit that middle note of the left hand chord that we're playing. So let's say I was playing a C, I could play it like this, where it's just the octave, but I could occasionally hit a G. So if I was playing an A minor, this is triad plus octave, and I could occasionally hit the E, and this would sound pretty legit. So I'll show you what this sounds like when I'm singing, where I'm just occasionally hitting that note. Well, I found a woman stronger than anyone I know. She shares my dreams, I hope that someday we'll share her home. I found love. So that would be where I'm playing the triad, playing the octave with the left hand, and occasionally hitting the middle note, the fifth of the left hand chord. Let's now move on to level 8. All right, guys, we're nearly at the end. Level 8 is now where we're going to arpeggiate and alternate and spam the notes of the left hand. So again, if I'm playing a C, I'm allowed to hit C, G, C. Playing an A minor, A, E, A. Playing an F, F, C, F. Playing a G, G, D, G. Those are the notes I'm allowed to hit. And I'm going to spam this on the left hand by like randomly. Yeah, just like in whatever order I want basically, but like a reasonable order is like this. So similar to what we did with the right hand where we were going like this, we're now doing the same on the left hand. And this is now what this sounds like if we are doing, so I'm just going to play a triad on the right hand, and I might occasionally rhythm it, nothing fancy in the right hand, and in the left hand, I'm going to play a random notes in the arpeggio. So here's how it might go if I'm singing along at the same time. I found a love for me, darling, just dive right in and follow my lead. I found a girl, beautiful and sweet. I never knew you were that someone waiting for me, 'cause we were just kids when we... Sounds pretty reasonable. Let's now move on to level 9. All right, level 9 is now where we start to get really fancy and we spam the notes of the chord that we're allowed to do with our right hand and also our left hand. Now this is where it starts to get really fun because you can do funky things with it. So we know what the triad is, we know what the octave is with the fifth, and we're going to randomly spam those notes in a way that sounds reasonably aesthetic and that kind of goes with the rhythm of the song. So here is what that might sound like. Well, I found a love for me, darling, just dive right in and follow my lead. I found a girl, beautiful and sweet, and I never knew you were that someone waiting for me, as we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time. You see, I'm just spamming random notes, and with a bit of practice, this starts to sound reasonable. One way of making it sound a bit more reasonable is not going super ham on the spamming of the notes. So for example, as we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time. Darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own, and in your eyes you're holding mine. And then you can go really ham on the chorus. So baby, I'm dancing in the dark, with you between my arms, barefoot on the cross, listening to our favorite song. So I'm going much more ham on the chorus because that's like a bit higher energy. But really the only notes I'm playing are the triad in the right hand with that claw position and the octave in the left hand with the, index finger fifth note occasionally thrown in. And if you can do this with a bit of practice, this will look like you really know what you're doing when playing the piano. Let's now move on to level 10, where we put it all together with inversions. All right, level 10 is now where we talk about inversions. Now this is slightly fancier, but there are different ways of playing every chord. Let's take a C major chord, which we know is C, E, G. And we know that because a keyboard only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes that we're allowed to play, and then we can ignore the black notes. And then everything repeats. So playing a C, an E, and a G is the same whether you play it there, or up there, or up there, or up there, or down here. It's all the same chord. But crucially, you don't have to start on the official note of the chord. If you want to play a C major chord, you don't have to start with a C and then go up. You can start with a C and then go down to the notes that you're interested in. So C, G, E. This is still a C major chord. It's just a different inversion of it. So the C is the final note rather than the first note. This is one way of doing it. This is one way of doing it. And what you can do is you can kind of memorize the different inversions. Very easy to do in the key of C major because it's all the same kind of hand shape. The other way of doing it is where the C is the middle note of the chord. So we know that a C major chord has C, E, G, but we don't have to play those ones. We can play C, E, and the G underneath. So that is another inversion of a C major chord. Now, why is this important? Well, you might have noticed that when we're playing levels 1 to 9, our hand has to move around a lot around the keyboard. So it's like C, and then you're jumping up to an A minor, or C, jumping down to an A minor, and then maybe jumping up to an F, and then jumping down to a D, a G. It's a lot of moving around, and stuff just generally sounds better when your fingers are moving around less. So for example, if I was playing a C major chord like this, and I knew the next one was an A minor, instead of moving my whole hand up to an A minor, what I could do is I could play the A minor inversion, which looks like that, and that, and that. So A, E, and C. And now the difference between C major and A minor is just one note. It's a very different sounding chord, but it's just a one note difference between the two. So let's go, I'm C to A minor. Now I want to play a G, and I want to have minimal movement. It wouldn't make sense for me to play a G all the way up here because I'm moving my hand a lot. So if I'm on an A minor, I might want to play a G like this. So I'm taking my A minor shape, which is pinky, index, and thumb, and just moving it down one. And now I've got a G major chord. And if I want an F, I can do the same thing, just move down rather than my hand going all over the place. So once you've learned the inversions, then as you're playing any of these songs that you want to know, where you can get the chords off of Ultimate Guitar Tabs, you can choose to use the different inversions of the chords. And I'm going to show you, putting all of this together, what this ultimately looks like. Well, I found a love for A minor inversion, darling, just F inversion, and follow my G inversion. I found a C normal, beautiful A minor inversion. Now I'm an F inverted, now going to a G inverted, because we were just kids, and so on. Putting all of this together, going from level 0 through to 10 of playing piano without taking any lessons, by just following this tutorial and random YouTube videos and Google Images, with a bit of practice, you can get to the point where you can sing any song in the world that you want once you've got the chords off of Ultimate Guitar Tabs using these 10 different levels. So this is Perfect by Ed Sheeran. I'll play a little bit of this and then we'll do a few other songs. So baby, I'm dancing in the dark between my arms, barefoot on the cross, listening to our favorite song. I have faith in what I've seen. Now I know I have met an angel in person. She looks perfect tonight. And all of that, except the bit at the end where I was just playing C major triads all the way up. And all of that is basically what we've learned in the last half an hour of level 0 through to 10 of playing the piano and singing at the same time. Hopefully you like this. If you guys want to see more on this piano kind of stuff, do let me know in the comments down below. Music is like a really fun part of my life, and I haven't really talked about it on the channel much before, but it's the sort of thing I want to talk a lot more about. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.